I genuinely know the feeling of how it feels like when you mess up and when you sin so much and you just feel so bad. The world, you're just being squished so much by this world and by this sin that you just feel guilty and you can't forgive yourself. You always just say like, how could have I done this? How could have I done that? I could have done better. I could have not done it. Beating yourself in the dirt. I completely know that feeling. I've been in the same position as you are. I've been in this genuinely same position as you were. When you are strangled by the sin, and when you always feel bad about yourself and beating yourself down, thinking that he is not going to forgive you. But the thing is that this belief you have of that he is not going to forgive you, it's a straight manipulation tactic from Satan himself. It is a straight manipulation tactic designed by him to keep you specifically stuck in the same sin and in the same cycle, because he knows that the more you're going to beat yourself down, the less faith you're going to start having in yourself, and the less faith you're going to start having in him. And then the more chances you have of abandoning your faith because of fear and because of thinking that he's not going to forgive you. Let me tell you the story about a king, which is specifically also told in his word. I specifically don't remember his name, but the story went along the lines that this king was extremely ruthless. He followed paganistic idols. He encouraged idolatry, encouraged all these sinful things to be done in his country. He made false idols and he sacrificed his own children, his genuinely own children, his own bloodline, as sacrifice for these fake idols. But eventually, the moment when he lost his entire kingdom and he lost everything, he came to the Lord with a broken heart, with sobbingness and with tears. He said, God, I'm sorry. Please forgive me. And he was forgiven. Because you have to realize and you have to adapt this mindset in your life that there are people who have done worse things in your life. There are people who've done worse sins and worse things in your life and they still have been forgiven. They still have been forgiven. Because you have to acknowledge the fact that we're not perfect in this world. We can strive for perfection, but we're never going to be perfect. There's always going to be things we're going to struggle with. There's always going to be sins we're going to trip with. You have to accept this reality. Accept this fact that sin is something that takes time to defeat. It won't disappear tomorrow. It won't disappear after a week. This thing takes months, even probably years on end to defeat. Sin is something that it takes time to defeat. Because let me tell you an analogy real quick. And that is the fact that your sin is like a jug of water. The more water it has, the more power it has over you. And if you're desperately fighting your sin, and if you're still losing, if you can't control yourself, that is a sign that that water jug, it's overfilled. It has the full power. But you have to realize that the moment when you're going to surrender everything to him and going to start fight it more, no matter what, you're going to still try to struggle. You're still going to try to fight. The more you're going to struggle and fight, eventually, that water level, it just goes down. Progressively goes down, goes down, goes lower, 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 until the point where there's barely any water and your sin has no control over you. You have to realize that these points in your life, when you can barely fight sin, these are the starting phases of you fighting. If you are fighting sin, and if you can't win it, these are the starting phases of its defeat. These are the starting phases of its defeat. That is a clear sign that the tempter is using all of his last resources to keep you hooked onto this sin. The moment when those resources are wasted, he has no authority over you on this sin. You're fully free from the sin. And this is where the analogy of progressive deload comes in. This is where the analogy progressive deload comes in, where you start doing it less and less and less, which is where we go to the next point. By the way, this message and this point of the video is specifically made and designed for all of you who are desperately fighting lust and cannot break free from it. The first thing you have to realize is that lust is something that takes time to defeat. It takes time to defeat. These evil companies and corporations that run the world, they specifically designed this site for you. They specifically designed this site for it to be difficult to click off. We live in a sexualized society where things like this are normal. Your teachers are saying fapping is normal. Your friends are saying lust is normal. Your family is saying lust is normal. We live in an over-sexualized society, so you have to realize that this will take time for you to defeat. Lust is something that takes time to defeat. And bro, please, bro, I absolutely beg you, stop counting your days. Stop counting your nofap days. You're setting yourself up for failure. You're generally setting yourself up for failure when you count your days. Why? Because the moment when you count your days, you're setting up yourself for two things. One, it's the moment when you remind yourself that, oh, I cannot do this, I'm on day 1,300,000 whatever on nofap. The moment when you start counting the days and think of nofap, your brain gets the message of, oh, we had this nofap thing, but I remember there was this one memory of this one good video we saw, and the dopamine was very good. So let me remind him about this one memory we had. The dopamine was extremely good from that high. When you remind yourself about the days you're counting in nofap, you're reminding your mind that you haven't done in a long while. And you have to realize that we humans are biologically designed to procreate. You're setting yourself up for fate. Nofap is something that sets you up for failure. It's a reminder that reminds you that you haven't done it in a long while. Thereby, it will become harder and harder for you to fight this addiction. And the second very big flop that nofap has is the moment when you fail. There's a very big possibility that you won't have the motivation to fight again. Why? Because you set up this fight of lust on a time record. The moment when you lose your 1,000 days on nofap, there's a huge chance you most likely wouldn't want to do it and get back on those 1,000 days. So just simply stop counting the days and just simply don't do it. Simply don't do it. Switch your environment. Do something new. Do new hobbies. Find something and overfill your day and make yourself busy. And I can guarantee you this addiction, it will slowly start to fade away. So pretty much, I hope y'all learned something from this video today, which is simply by the fact that if you are failing, if you have failed, just generally keep going. Genuinely keep going. There are 365 days in this year. Think of how much opportunities you still have and how much time you still have to beat these addictions and to change something in your life. Because you have to realize that these things do not disappear in one day. These things take time. So keep these things in mind. And also, if you want to make this journey easier for you, and if you want to have a genuine brotherhood on your side who's encouraging you to not do these things and to be better and to do better, then the brotherhood is then the crusade is all yours. Whereas this is a place where we're all there for you, and even I am willing to give you personalized mentorship in any time and completely for free. And pretty much, if you also like to, you can like and subscribe to support this ministry. You can also comment down below whether you support my opinions or not. But most importantly, thank you all for watching. I see you boys in our crusade and tomorrow. Jesus loves you.